Good evening, Rush Nation. I'm your boy Joel Hewitt. Welcome to the 5 Yard Rush NFL podcast. I'm the rat with a heart of gold, and I'm here with the off-season champion, Pete Mealy. How the devil are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks. I'm buzzing after this weekend's action. Feeling good for the week.
That's
Much
what I
better
like.
mood
No,
today.
Alex, this week he has been the bat signal flared up and he just ran away. We assume to fight crime in Gotham. So it's just yourself and I. I've just seen that our Twitter link has not fired out. Oh well, it's just for the people on YouTube and Facebook today. It would appear. But yeah, good to see you, man. It's been a week 3, hasn't it?
It has been a week 3. Yeah, eventful one. Very eventful
The
one. A
weakest
big game last night.
3 of all the week 3s that we've experienced on this podcast so far.
This is at least in the top 2. At least. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Right, yeah, before we kick off, I guess I'd be remiss to not mention that the Discord is out there and people are logging on all the time to have a good time, chat with one another about all of the 5 Yard Rush shows. But with that plug out the way, let's kick off. And this week, much like the last, we're going to open up with bangers and trash. Pete and I watched a reasonable amount of football over I was going to say the weekend, but now it's essentially Thursday through Tuesday, or I guess Friday through Tuesday for us, because we do the AMs after the PMs and whatnot. So yeah, just a few things that we loved, and I don't want to use hate. Hate's a bad word, but some bangers and some just absolute trash that was out there. For me, I'm going to start us off this week because mine's kind of a game of two halves. Banger, the New York Giants first half against Kansas City, and trash, the New York Giants second half against Kansas City. Good God, I was two different people watching that game. When they got to just before the half, and it was a thrilling 6-6, and Kansas essentially looked like they were going to score a touchdown. I was like, all right, here we go. It's ref game. We're going to do just enough. It felt like Manchester United getting Fergie time. Like, we just want to make sure that the Chiefs are winning when they go into the locker room. Let's keep people engaged and coming back for the second half. Anyway, they didn't score a touchdown, and they did get another field goal. So then they were up 9-3, which is quite pedestrian compared to what they usually end up doing. So now you're going, whoa, that first half was all right. Giants defense showed up. We got a good scatterboo here and there. Got to give him a shout out in the first few minutes. Contractually obliged to do so. And then there are two very different halftime speeches, I assume, in locker rooms where the Giants went, woo, woo, slow down. We're trying too hard. These are the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs went, woo, woo, speed up. These are the New York Giants. And then it all kind of went a bit hell in the handbasket, which was a bit annoying by the end of it. But I had a fun time nonetheless. And the Chiefs are still only 1-2. And I'm not like a hater. I just like it when things even out and potentially we don't have the same Super Bowl every single year. So yeah, that's a couple of bits from there. Crazy that the bookers took the Chiefs Giants as the it was the late Sunday game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like prime time on a Sunday night, like week 3. They can't have expected much from Russ Wilson. It wasn't flexed in or out because they only do that, I think, week 4 or 5 onwards. They have to lock everything up until that point. So they went, oh yeah, Kansas City versus the Giants is going to be the one that people want. Did you catch any of it, the KC Giants game?
Yeah, I think the money was what told with doing that. It was just purely the New York Football Giants market is too big, so they try to get him in. No matter how bad they are, they'll get him in as many times as they possibly can, and also try and do it while the weather's still nice enough. Because then later in the year when it's snowing, they'll try to put them on less because they don't want to go there on the cold weather days. Two pedestrian-looking teams. They're not I mean, obviously, we'll kind of come to it and shortly in the news, but neither of which are exciting. I was really anticipating a bounce back season this year from Mahomes. I thought he was going to switch it back on and get that offense moving and stop relying so much on Spags' defense, and he's just not. They've just looked dull as dishwater every single week. Now, it will help when they get Rice back from suspension. You'd hope, but Kelsey looks too old. He looks far too old. He's not moving with the same pace that he did. Obviously, Worthy's crocked, so the weapons aren't helping him, but the running game's not good either. They need help in the running game because it's just not working for them. So yeah, I was disappointed by the match. I was hoping for more, particularly after the big week 2 showing from the Giants. And it's a shame we couldn't deliver it.
Yeah, understandable. And a slight bit of controversy as well. Kareem Hunt getting flagged for the most mundane celebration you've ever seen. I don't know if you caught that.
It's normally the opposite to the Chiefs normally getting quite a lot of the flags in their benefits. Interesting to see it going the other way now.
It's like the refs have fallen out, like they've broken up. Like Mahomes didn't call them back in the off season or something because the referees don't appear to be. Well, they're not just not siding with them; they're calling weird things that you don't expect against the Chiefs. So I don't know if the script has changed, as people like to point out. But yeah, a slashing motion to the throat because he gave it the old Undertaker like.
Yeah. It's soft. I mean, that's probably going to be Taylor's next album, isn't it? The next, because they're always breakup albums. The next one will be the breakup with the Chiefs, the refs even. Yeah, I like that.
Good point. Yeah, red theme. Yeah, glittery red though, because stay on theme.
Yeah,
but I'm starting to wonder, like, when it comes to like celebrations and things people that get flagged for, what is the line? I'm thinking, Gladiator. Are we allowed? Is it the thumb that was the thing? If we gave the old thumbs down, as in, kill them. Is
that's bad.
Inciting violence. I mean, that boo is a different thing to So it very much could end up being gone too far. The No Fun League continues to not be fun. Kareem Hunt looked all right though. I'm sure he'll be annoyed at the $15,000 putting his thumb to his chest will cost him, but some stupid like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my little takeaway from that. What you got for me? What you seen?
I think I'm going to go for a trash related, I guess, to what we were just talking about with the Giants, and it's the Cowboys' defense. It is just appalling. I mean, a lot of the kind of the praise that's come out has been about how well Caleb and the Bears looked, but he threw 4 touchdowns, and it was 4 wide open receivers. I mean, 3 receivers and Cole Kmet, but every time one of them, the DJ Moore one, was just a complete blown coverage, and he was stood still in the back of the end zone with people.
It was amazing.
It was
I saw a tweet saying, "Here's the touchdown you could have caught," and it was like, I was absolutely, I could have.
It was like a pitch invasion. Someone just jumped over the hoardings and just stood there and gone, "Just throw it to me. No one will know."
Or he's been hiding under a blanket in the end zone and nobody noticed, and he just nowhere.
And the highlight of the entire weekend, just on that, when he scored that, Olamide Zaccheaus trying to jump on him to celebrate, and obviously the Bears aren't used to celebrating, so we just missed. I don't know if you've seen this. He literally runs and jumps on DJ Moore and completely misses him and just stacks it on the floor. It's amazing. Find the video if you can. It's brilliant.
That's an incredible celebration. The no sell for any wrestling fans out there. Samoa Joe's a big no sell guy where he'll just like act hurt, and then as somebody like goes to a move, he'll just up and walk off. So the no sell celebration, the no selly should be the one. Anyway, out there, Justin Jefferson, if you're listening. Gosh, we talked, or I guess a lot of people talked a lot about the Cowboys. Obviously, good and bad. I had a funny feeling that they were going to be on like a bounce back, even after the Micah Parsons thing, and then they looked really pedestrian in week 1, the defense especially, and it was like, that's probably not their fault. But as the weeks have gone on, we're going, are these teams good, or are they playing the Cowboys?
Yeah.
And that's the same kind of. We had the same kind of conversation last week about the Steelers defense, which same kind of thing. To be fair, they're two very similar franchises. They do rhyme, as George Lucas would like to say. And yeah, you just got to think anytime that you're up against the Cowboys, you've got a really good shot at
Yeah.
doing okay. And Caleb looked good. I think he had one of his better games that I've seen from him.
Yeah, probably his best game, I would say. Definitely.
Yeah.
And he was, until last night, leading the league for passing touchdowns.
What?
Yeah. He's
Good
second in
God.
the league for touchdowns, just behind two behind Lamar, with
That's
8 in 3
crazy.
games, 7 passing and 1 rushing. So yeah, he is playing well. I said it last week. He looked really, really good this week, but I don't want to spend too much time on that because I can't. There's a bit of me just kind of mitigates. He looked good. The offense looked good. The movement was good, but they looked much better because of the Cowboys. And I rate Flus as a DC. I really do. And he was one of the better passing defenses last year. I think from a fantasy football point of view, they were the worst defense, or the number one defense against quarterbacks in NFL, because and wide receivers, because they just didn't really give up much. Their end of season stats were rubbish because the offense couldn't stay on the field, but they were good, and he was really, really good at the Colts. He runs a ball hawk defense, which Trevon Diggs should be good at, because it's just about jumping the routes, getting those interceptions, and just turnover. That's his big thing. But he doesn't have the personnel. The personnel he's got aren't performing for him, and they're making him look really bad because his system is very high variance. It has to be. He needs elite players and he needs an elite pass rusher. The Bears turned around once Sweat got there. He needs Micah Parsons. So without them, there's no pressure. The defensive backs can't get into the right position unless they're really elite, and I don't think they're as good as they need to be there. So nobody's playing for each other now, and Dak is good. Dak's a really, really good quarterback, and he's playing well. He's maligned a lot by non-Cowboys fans, and I think it's unfair. It feels like Burrow in Cincinnati last year.
Yeah, Dak's playing at like an MVP level. We talked a little bit about him last week. It's just he's kind of the opposite of rising tide raises all boats. He's just hovering above the rest of the team, and it almost feels like none of them really want to be there. It's like just another day at the office, which is strange because like that division should be, competitive, but they're for the taking. Like obviously they've got the Giants, but then like the Commanders, that's winnable. They're not crazy good. They had moments last year, but they definitely could have snuck some wins out here. But I mean, what, with 3 weeks in, I'm just looking at 1-2. But like same record as the Bears, same record as the Chiefs, same record as the Ravens. There's a lot of good 1 and 2 teams out there, which is pretty mad. It's been an odd 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Swinging over to me then, I guess I'm going to go with the obvious and an absolute banger. The kick sixes, man. I love the term kick sixes as well. It warms my soul. It's the perfect kind of almost pun. But the Jets and Philly, both within minutes of each other, blocked and returned a kick for a touchdown. Both games put them ahead with very good chances of winning them. Obviously, Philly did. Obviously, the Jets didn't.
Yeah.
Two very branching paths. It was sliding doors. It was like one team could do this and then it work out, and then the other team could not. But the Jets, in their defense, they were against Tampa Bay, and everyone's glazing on Tampa and Baker at the moment. So they were never going to win. But gosh, it was fun. And good Lord, LA, the Rams, they were up by a ridiculous amount. I think at one point, I think I read they were like 80% probability to win with like 10 minutes
Yeah.
left in the game, and you're like, fair enough. And somehow they managed to lose it to Philly. And again, in that division, like the Rams, if they can like win games like that, they've completely like locked it up. But now
Yeah.
the Cardinals and the Niners have both like right there on their heels. Like mad.
Yeah, Rams should be
Well,
winning
actually, the
anything
Niners
in that
are
division.
3-0, aren't
But I think it's that it's not a clutch gene, but there's a clutch mentality in Philadelphia, isn't there?
they?
When it gets to those serious moments, they know how to just get into that zone, and they can put pressure on other teams that haven't been there and done that in the same way, because it's been a few years since this Rams team has been a lot of turnover since then, since they won the Super Bowl. They felt the pressure, and you could see Philadelphia surging, and the Rams just starting to quake a little bit, and that momentum makes such a difference in a sport like football, when it's all about confidence and physicality and mindset as well. There's so much psychology in this sport, so much psychology on both sides of the ball. But yeah, it really made a difference. But I think just kicking in general this week has been bananas, hasn't it? You saw
I
all
lost
these
count.
kind of things. Yeah, you saw the Texans cut coup because they brought in a kicker. He did 5 of 5 last week, so they cut coup, and then he missed his both field goals. No, the
Yeah,
Falcons. Sorry, missed
Falcons.
both
Yeah,
his field goals this week, and it's kind of in. We were going to mention it a bit later, but it's the Tyler Loop. He didn't score that. That first field goal that he was given, he didn't score that. That
he
definitely
didn't
went
score that.
wide.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, no, that
Which,
was pretty forgiving.
yeah,
They were generous by giving them that. It's a good thing that it didn't come down to it and cost them one way or the other.
yeah.
Because that would have been just all back page of the newspapers and whatnot. If people still print those things on newspaper, I don't know.
No,
It
with the
might
Metro.
not.
I don't know if
Yeah,
there's how much is in the Metro.
the Metro talking about the Baltimore Ravens kicker. Like, did he
Yeah.
make the gig? Did he not? Like, yeah. Just for people getting a free newspaper on the bus. And so, go on then. What else you got in your list of? God, you did not enjoy a few things this week.
I'm
You went
going to
trash.
go
Give
with
me
a
something.
banger before I go
Yeah.
into some of the trash. I mean, and it's a banger and a trash together. Let's combine the two. So the banger is Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers, the Vikings cornerback.
Oh God, he had a day.
He had a day. 2 forced fumbles, 1 he recovered, 1 interception, 2 touchdowns for a cornerback is insane. He scored a 99.9 PFF, which is the highest in history. He has the record for the highest PFF score of all time for that game he played. So that is the banger of all bangers. For
He's
a guy
the
that was
ocarina of time of football players.
Yes, absolutely. Kotaku, 10 out of 10, Isaiah Rodgers. Yeah, he just had a fantastic, and it's his first season there. He was with the Eagles. And Brian Flores was like, that's the guy we want. And they went and targeted him and brought him in, and he showed out. He had a fantastic game. Now, on the flip side, from a trash point of view, Jake Browning helped with that, and the team in general. They were just awful. The Bengals. He got a touchdown, but he was sacked 3 times through 2 interceptions. Scored, was it 3 points, or did they score more by then? I think it was, last time I checked, it was 3, and then I just kind of zoned out for how awful it was. And so did Chase. There was one play where he threw a pass to. He was actually caught by I think it was Gesicki.
Oh, I saw this, and he just spun out the way.
And Chase was just like, "Nope, I am not getting
like,
injured
nah,
for this." Go. Yeah, yeah. It was just that Grandpa Simpson walking into the strip club meme. He just walks in, he goes, "Nope, just go straight back
down
out."
there, straight back around.
Yeah,
There was a couple of people that like quit. I saw another. I'm gonna call it a highlight, but TJ Watt. It was like game on the line against the Patriots, and somebody broke out and was running down the sideline, and TJ Watt's basically just walking towards it. If he'd have just like put a shift in, he probably could have got to the guy and taken him out, but he didn't. Yeah, there's some. He said people are saying, "Well, got paid."
yeah.
But yeah, Chase, watching that was very much, I'm not putting my body on the line for this season.
Yeah,
He's protecting himself now. I don't think we're going to see a lot of effort. I think is going to be the best word for it
no,
from Jamar Chase. The curse of being that number one pick, man, like in fantasy leagues and things. It
yeah. I think if the defense could keep them in a game, he might try a bit harder. But the defense has been rubbish, and it's been entirely reliant on him and Burrow, and then just with support from T and Chase Brown. But without
should
Burrow, there's just no point.
look. I know they want to go with him, but should they be realistically considering picking up a different QB at this point, reaching out to a Kirk Cousins or
It,
one of the 800 Cleveland Browns?
it's really tricky, isn't it? I don't think it's bad. I'll go and get Jameis. Go and get Jameis
Yeah,
from New York. He's their QB3. He, with the weapons that they've got, could keep them in contention until Burrow comes back. And for nothing else, he would be entertaining. There's nobody quite so entertaining at football as Jameis, YOLO, Winston. And I think with their schedule, he could. It's just that they need to know, can he get us close enough so that we're still in contention when Burrow comes back in week 13, 14, that we might have a playoff spot. If they don't think he can, then just run with Browning and just get that high draft pick and do something about your defense next year.
yeah, it's fair enough. And I think, yeah, Jameis, I saw something that was like Jameis should just be the backup. He shouldn't be signed to a team. It should be if your QB goes down, you get Jameis Winston. No ifs, buts, or coconuts. That's it. That's what's happening. And look, James got precedent for that division. He played with the Browns for a little bit, didn't he? So
Yeah.
he's been against those teams. He could legitimately, well, we know he can chuck a ball, and Jamar Chase likes to just oof it downfield, doesn't he? So it could just be a lot of fun, and the fan base will be back on board because his crazy superpower is just that you don't really mind losing when it's Jameis Winston because it feels very da-da-da-da-da-da. And
Yeah.
it's almost like you're like, well, it's not Joe Burrow, but at least we're going to have a good time and we're going to see some like sky balls going out there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We're
I
not going to
could.
get a drubbing.
No, exactly. And with the Giants news that broke not too long ago, they've already got their backup in place, and Jameis could easily just like jump over. But hey, I guess we will see. I'm going to move on to a bit of trash for me this week, and the last one of mine from this. Oh no, I've got a couple, but this one here, the Patriots running backs, just all of them, every single one, the entire room. So I've got a couple of stats. I'm not a big stat guy, I'm more of a vibes kind of person. If anybody listening has heard before, but Ramondre Stevenson, 2 fumbles within the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
Great. Well done, mate. That's fantastic. Gibson fumbled right away. Once they took Stevenson out, Gibson just kept that going. We've worked it out. It's not Stevenson's fault. It's some kind of curse. And then Henderson, obviously their 2nd round draft pick,
Yeah.
had 2 snaps as a pass blocker. And that was it.
It's wild. Absolutely wild. I had one of my guys coming into this season, like the guys that I want on all of my fantasy football teams, the guys I'm really looking forward to see, I'm really excited about, was Travion Henderson. I thought he looked electric in college. He had great opportunity because Ramondre has a history of fumbles. That's just his thing. He did it last year a few times. He's not the best for ball security. So I thought the opportunities there. Antonio Gibson has flashed in the past, but he's never been consistent. He's never really threatened to be a proper starter, apart from that very first season with Washington. Back when they were the football team. So yeah, I thought the opportunities there. Drake May's going to make this offense fun. He's going to be able to create holes, and he's explosive. And they're just like, nah, we don't need him. And I wonder if it's a punishment. I bet we'll see a bounce back because that's what Vrabel's like. he's a very high T type coach. So he'll want to punish Ramondre next time, and Gibson. So I reckon we'll see a bounce back and quite a few carries for Henderson. Just say, right, go on, you show him how it's done now. Here's your opportunity to redeem yourself.
Yeah,
they sucked.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. I was just having a look there. They're 1-2, which again is the same as the Ravens, as the Chiefs. Like, it's not the end of the world in week 3. But I'm just trying to see who they've also got this week. I want to say so they're hosting the Panthers. Which Panthers team will show up? Who knows? Is it the one that'll just blow out the Falcons and cost Mayaka? Because who doesn't put the Falcons in against Carolina in their accumulator? And then they just drop 30 points on it. Just as a humble brag, I said, I think in the second episode of this, or it might have even been the first, I was like, Carolina to make a playoff like wild card.
Yeah.
They looked it. Maybe.
They did. He was really strange because offensively they didn't look great, but that's their defense made plays. Penix out. I mean, the Falcons outgained him pretty much everything, but a pick 6 and a huge interception return as well really swung it. So it's high variance play. So it'd be interesting to see if they can capitalize and build on that. But there were fewer of those errors from Bryce, which is important. And they've still got weapons. They have got weapons. I like.
I can't name any of them, by the way, outside of Hunter Renfrow, and that's only because of the story of his kid playing Bluey on his phone, hanging up on the Panthers. So I don't know who. Oh, McMillan, you were going to say, weren't you?
Yeah. So Ted McMillan's is a good player, and I think once they start to gel, it sometimes takes a while for an inexperienced quarterback and a rookie wide receiver to get that momentum. But once that starts to go, I think that should snowball, and we should start to see some really exciting performances further in the season. We just need to protect Bryce at all costs because he's teeny tiny. So he needs as much separation from the defensive line as possible to do anything.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I've not seen what. Oh no, we're just saying Carolina versus the Patriots. Like, they've got a good shot. They're both 1-2. The division is still Baker's going to run away with the NFC South, but Falcons looked terrible, to be fair. Which it pleases me, as you know, it like just warms my soul. So could the Panthers go on a little run, maybe?
I think both teams those and the Patriots are both prime spots for a wildcard run because they've got a contender at the top of their division and then 2 filler teams there. You've got Falcons, who don't look great or who look inconsistent at best, and you've got the Saints, who are womp womp.
Ethnically tanking.
Yeah. And the Pats have got the Jets and the Dolphins, who aren't pulling up any trees. So if they get it together, it won't take much for them to be in wildcard contention come the end of the season, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And now is my contractually obliged moment to point out the Saints. They didn't even just like pretend they were tanking this week. They were they embraced it with both arms wide open, to quote Creed. They were just like, I don't care. Interestingly enough, heard a weird, it's not really a fact or a stat, but 3 weeks in a row, Saints have never worn the same helmet twice. It's been like black, gold, white.
See, that's why they're your spiritual team.
To just keep changing the hats.
Just love hats.
But yeah, that's my thing. Go on. I think you're all bad news bears from here, and I've got a good one. So and a bit of a question. So go on then. What's?
I've got one banger. I've got one more banger. Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker. Where's he come from?
I honestly don't know what happened.
3 touchdowns, 145 yards. Leads the league in touchdowns
in one game.
Yeah. He was all right first game, did nothing second game, 3 on 145. And all the Brock Bowers fancy man is just like, stop throwing it to him. Why are you throwing it to him? Can Zach Best do something? I drafted him in my Dynasty League.
It made absolutely no sense at all. But that's what you get sometimes. You get a new QB in. They meet everybody. They get along with one better than others. They like mesh really well. All of a sudden, chuck me a couple extra this week. Yeah, I got you. Like that kind of. And then you get a game like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just absolutely crushed it. Really, really did. And the number one pickup in all the fancy, like if he can carry this on, if he's got that connection with Gino, because Gino will sling it no matter what. It could be exciting going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I'm right here with you. I've got more of a question for Bangs and Trash than anything else. Are the Jags bangers or the Texans trash? Because watching it felt like, wow, the Jags really putting in a shift here. But then watching it, I watched the highlights again. I was like, oh, were the Jags good, or were the Texans just poor? And I mean, I guess also breaking news: the 0-3 Texans have dropped CJ for reasons that I don't really understand. I'm hoping that it's not because he beat somebody up or anything like that. Musical differences.
Yeah, weird was he said, I don't want to be used. I want to blitz more. I don't like how you're using me, but please don't trade me. So just cut me. So he was just being, from the rumours out, he was being disruptive behind the scenes. And they've got a good secondary. So it should be a good unit. That unit should be performing way, way better than it is. But I think in general, they're just trash.
So it's not a Jags good thing?
No, because I don't think the Jags are good. They're still disjointed. They're still not doing well. And again, that'll probably tie in. I'll pull in one of my trash things here. One of the trash ones that I put in was Shane Waldron, who's the Jags offensive coordinator.
Okay.
He was in Seahawks. He was in Seattle when it looked like Jackson Smith and Jigba was a bust. He left, and JSN's gone boom. He then went to Chicago, and we saw how good the Chicago offense was last year. And Rome Odunze looked like a bust. 3 touchdowns all season. He's left. Odunze's balling out. On the opposite, Brian Thomas Jr. looked like the next Justin Jefferson. He looked Amon-Ra St. Brown, someone like that for last season. And this year, just awful. It's just not clicking. When you've got a head coach like Cohen in there, it should be all singing, all dancing, and nothing is working. But the Texans are just awful.
They may come up a little bit later.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there's a stat that we'll mention later on when we bring them back. We'll bring the Texans up later on. I'll save that for later.
Fair enough. I've got another banger to go with, or have you got anything? Do you want to end on a high or a low? Because you're just got trash left, so now I've got a banger.
I've only got one trash left.
Okay, go on, hit that, and then I'm going to
super quick. Marvin Harrison Jr. What's going on?
Oh, I can tell you what's going on. I drafted him.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Took him in the stack with Kyler Murray.
Yeah. And he's just got potatoes for hands. He just can't. That drop was horrendous. I mean, obviously there's a drop in the end zone, but that wide open drop on a bomb pass, because he's basically, every time the ball comes to him, he's trying to catch with his body. He's not trying to catch with his hand. It's like he's nervous about catching with his hands and he's worried about dropping it. So he's trying to body catch it. And that's bad technique. He shouldn't be doing that. He should be going with his hands, particularly when he's got nobody around him. It seems like his head's gone and he just needs a reset. The talent is there, and I think he can turn it around. just hope he can do it sooner rather than later, because if he does click, he's an exciting player to watch and he can be something special. But this week was tough sledding, to say the least.
Yeah, and I was saying to you, the Cards Niners game is the one that I was kind of like sneaky had my eye on, because I do quite like them both. I've got them both down as like playoff contenders.
Yeah.
And it was so disappointing, like that just game as a whole. It really just kind of irked me a little bit, where two teams who have got some like flashy players and stuff, yeah, fine, there's like injuries all over the spot at the moment, but I just thought it would have been, especially divisional as well. I think next time we see him is probably going to be the rivals gear game, where the Cards are going to look like tortillas, and the Niners are going to be just like dressed in black, looking incredibly cool next to the tortillas that are the Cardinals. Somebody said that, and I can't unsee it now. It was like, once you look at it and see a tortilla, it's game over. It's such a shame, because I think I was like, oh, right, cool, Sandy. They actually made a difference, and then the tortilla game ruined me. So yeah, hopefully when they see each other again, we'll have a better game and we'll have that kind of like fun rivalry from them. I'm going to bring everything up here, and a very, very rare shout out and a banger. And the reason for the hat today, not just because I'm off to go see him in a little bit, the Cleveland Browns, specifically their defense / special teams. I was looking at stats because, again, not a stats guy, but sometimes people make me do research. I'm that impressed. The Cleveland Browns defense, Love was dropped 5 times for 34 yards. So we sacked 5 times, lost 34 yards. There was a point where somebody shouted on the Green Bay O-line, "Jordan, run!" You can hear it because someone's mic'd up, because Myles Garrett is chasing Jordan Love down. And I saw a clip where it cuts to Myles Garrett. He heard it. He was sat on the sidelines, like, somebody was there going, "Jordan, run!" Trying to get him. Oh, man, what an absolute legend. Green Bay were only 3-0 up with 3 minutes, 23 seconds left in the third quarter. They had 3 points. Granted, the Browns had none, so Green Bay were still winning. However, they could only score 3 on the Browns. That Browns defense is so incredibly legit. I very much can't wait to see him in Tottenham in a couple of weeks. Love threw an interception with under 4 minutes left, leading it to be 10-10. And then obviously the field goal block set up the Cleveland win. What a crazy thing. One of the last things I said on last week's podcast was the lock of the week. I laughed and said, oh, God, you're going to want to pick Green Bay here. On the pick'em, 100% of people picked Green Bay. That's not in our pick'em league. That's the world. Nobody chose the Browns, or at least not enough people to move the needle to 1%. Insane. Just absolutely insane. And I don't think it was a bad sign for Green Bay. If anything, get them the monkey off their back a little bit. They don't have to go undefeated now. They've got a loss. Hopefully they don't meet the Browns in the playoffs, because now Cleveland is still in like kind of playoff contention because they have the same record as the Ravens. And the Bengals, or did the Bengals win 2 before everything
Bengals
went
won
wrong?
2 before, because Brown actually played well when he came in last week, didn't he?
He did. But the Bengals aren't going to like continue that win streak. Baltimore have got Kansas City. The Steelers obviously 2-1 as well. Steelers lost this week, didn't they?
Yes,
they did. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, Cleveland defense / special teams, just well done to you. Big fan of your work.
Yeah, it was really that defense will keep them in a lot of games as long as they can control the ball, and they've got their proper running back now. They've got Quinshon Judkins looking good, 97 and a touch.
He's great.
Yeah. He's looking exactly like you thought he would when they drafted him. So if they can just run the ball and run that clock down, that defense will keep it close. And all it takes is a little bit of magic from Joe. And then if they do get to the playoffs, nobody wants to face Joe Flacco in the playoffs. January Joe is a different beast. Different beast.
Certainly is. I already have seen Cleveland fans shouting for Shador. We didn't mention him at all last week, Barry. I just want to point out we went a whole podcast without mentioning Shador Sanders. However, your friend and mine, Mayday Blackburn, he is one of those Cleveland Brown fans that are just like, we've got nothing to lose. Stick Shador in. I'm not sure that he's quite ready yet, but if anything, it might be a bit of fun. I didn't think Flacco like blew the doors off or anything like that. I'm wondering if because of his age, it might take him a lot longer to get into the swing of things. Can't see him in the weight room each week or doing a great deal of the stuff that you would expect from maybe the younger guys. So I expect to see Shador pretty quickly. And speaking of, I guess, like rookie QBs, we're starting to see a little bit more here and there. Tyler Shook, he got in.
Yeah.
0-2.
Yeah.
For pass attempts, but he was there. He was in.
Yeah, he did the job we needed him to do.
Did exactly what we needed him to do. Yeah. We are again not even pretending this week that we were going to not tank. And we've seen a little bit more of Jackson Dart. Spoilers for the news that might come up in a second as well. So yeah, I can see Shador this year, maybe after a bye week, maybe after London. I think they might have London bye week, and then maybe we see Shador. Depends on the results and things. Depends on the locker room. Depends on Joe Flacco whether or not he just wants a nap.
Well, Dylan Gabriel's still second on the chart, isn't he? The second round rookie QB that they drafted. So it'd be interesting. The upside of Shador, if he gets it together, is way higher. He's way higher. But it's whether they think putting him in now will spoil him. It's a really tricky situation because Flacco, notoriously, not helpful to rookies. Remember when he was starting and then Lamar was like, I'm not coaching him. He's going to steal my job.
Yeah.
I'm not helping him out. Let him do his thing. I'm going to focus on me and my game. Now he's obviously 7-8 years older now, so it might be a different mindset. But I don't think he's necessarily the type of person to be happy to hold a clipboard and support the other guys. So they need to know that whether it's Dylan or Shador, they're going to be, okay, you're ready to make a difference now, and it's not going to crush you. It'd be interesting to see, really interesting to see.
Well, Flacco's not getting hit as much as you would expect from Cleveland. If I'm just having a quick look here, 2 sacks from Green Bay. That's
against that defensive line as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So if you could stick, Shador in there and protect him, give him enough time. He doesn't like staying in the pocket. So you've got to let everybody kind of protect and fan out and make sure that he's got the space and the time to breathe and slow down and throw it properly. Like if you just want a bit of fun and get some reps under the guy, it depends whether or not you think that you're legit. I reckon if Flacco doesn't have a particularly good game and the Ravens win, we could see Shador. If the Ravens lose, then the Browns are still in with that shot. So they're not going to just like roll the dice on Shador. I think other results may do a little bit something to do with it. But hey, that's my little bit. Any more bangers? Any more trash? Or are we moving on?
Let's move on.
Okay. To everyone's favorite segment and drop.
Yes, sir. News from the underground.
As you, sir. News from the underground. Pete, you put together every single story this week. So I'm going to let you go through them and I'm just going to play color commentary for you. So do you want to go from the top?
Yeah, I'm going to start with a bit of light fun story, which I really like. The Wiener Circle is a hot dog place in Chicago, and they put a tweet up saying, if Caleb throws 4 touchdowns this week, we're going to give on Tuesday free hot dogs to everybody. And the messages were coming up with them panicking, going, oh no, on Twitter about it happening. And they're just like atting their supply chain saying, can you help us out with this? And it happened today, and it's made kind of nationwide press, and the queues were ridiculous. I think at tea time, there was about a half hour, 40-minute queue down the street for people to come and get a free hot dog.
A free hot dog.
A free hot dog. They only had one, and it's a very specific type of hot dog that they're allowed. They can't just have whatever they want. It's one hot dog per person, just churning them out. So that
Times hard, Chicago.
Yeah, that's a nice bit of fun. I mean, those hot dogs, the thing is, that'll work so well for publicity if those hot dogs are absolutely immense. But how do you keep the quality up on that if you're going to do 6,000 in a day and it's just churn them out? It's going to be rush hour at McDonald's where they're just a little bit suboptimal.
Yeah, where everything's just slipping outside the bun. You definitely got to get it down your front and whatnot. And it's like 2 bites and it's gone.
With the ketchup.
Not even worth being free, gets thrown away.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that was a nice one to kick us off with, and that made me smile. Quite a few injuries that are less smile-inducing on there. James Conner's leg is not supposed to bend that way. That was not fun. Leg like a pretzel. It's bad when they say we're not going to show it. We're not going to show a replay. I think they did one, realised what they were seeing, and said, right, we won't show that again. And they just canned it off. So his season is done, and probably his career is done, which is a real shame because he's a really good player. He's been really robust throughout his entire career. He's not really been one for being super injury prone as well. So that was a tough one. Nick Bosa, when it rains, it pours for the 49ers. He's torn his ACL and his season is done. By the end of the season, I think they might have to have CMC playing defense. When you're relying on your only good player left to be Biscuit Bones McCaffrey, it's not
the irony.
Ideal.
There's a cursed monkey paw somewhere that is just a fist now, isn't there? Because it was like, let's just have a CMC injury-free season. And it was like, yeah, I've got you, dog. And then that's it. Everyone else, I always worry, if a genie were to pop out and they were like, what wish would you want? I'd be like, I want to be the world's greatest guitar player. My worry is that it just makes everybody worse than I currently am. And I think that's kind of it just curses everybody to ever pick up a guitar. So I'm the only person that has any kind of talent, and I can play 4 chords. So I'm still better than the Beatles are currently, but it's I definitely feel like CMC has that kind of cursed season ahead. It's going to be pretty typical for CMC to be super healthy and super into it and doing a lot of the work, and the rest of his team go down. So the playoffs are getting away from them. Again, we're 3 weeks in, and they're doing great. But now with Bosa, that is going to be a tough one. But please do continue.
Yeah. Other injuries: Najee Harris torn his Achilles, so his season's over. That was not nice to look at either. Really.
He just went down without any contact, didn't he?
Yeah.
Herbert, brutal. You see what he did?
Just stepped over him and threw it.
just hopped over him and threw a pass. It's like, oh, excuse me.
Yeah, goodbye. But I'm glad they did. I'm glad that wasn't intercepted. Someone just come barging back the other way. That didn't look good at all. So I guess over to Amari in Hampton, see how that plays out in LA now. The rookie just gets all
I have a reasonable amount of fantasy invest in Hampton. I picked up in a bunch of places, and then Najee Harris, after Najee Harris blew out his eye or whatever he did, then I was like, there is no way this guy is gonna be the go-to.
He's going to be a Pirate because he's lost his eye. Now he's lost his leg.
I we made a peg leg joke a couple of weeks ago.
We did.
That's tough. That is tough. Luckily, looking at all of this, so the the working title for this week's show that I already put together last week was Weak Threes and Weak Knees. And I was like, oh God, I hope I haven't cursed somebody. I hope I can change this title. So luckily none of these is somebody blowing a knee out. But torn ACL, pretzel leg, torn Achilles, onto CD Lamb.
Yeah, who's got high ankle sprain. He went out a fairly innocuous challenge right at the very beginning, like first few snaps for the Cowboys, and went out, and he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks now with a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I don't pray for injuries. Don't like him. Don't want to win my fantasy team that way. But when he went down, I'm facing Adam Rank this week in our league, and Rank started CD Lamb. CD Lamb scored no points, and I was like, I'm gonna catch you here, Rank. Anyway, I scored 59 total, so did not win. Did not win. Doesn't matter if like his entire team went down. He still would have beaten me there. Hope CD Lamb gets better. I do have a lot invested in George Pickens though,
and he will get you 17 points every game, no matter what. Identical stat line this week to the week before, 17.6, 17.7 points, something like that.
Incredible. We go that week in, week out.
Yeah. Proper we will. Or on that, right? Ferguson, tight end, 13 receptions, I think it was by the end of the game. Absolutely obscene. Other injuries, Mike Evans is going to miss a few weeks.
1,000-yard season out the window for Mike Evans at this point.
Yeah, I think he's missing 3 to 4 weeks. So yeah, I think I'll be amazed if he can, because by the time he's back, Godwin will be back, and Egbuka's obviously really showing out as well.
Sure is.
No, I think it's done. To be fair, he's done well to avoid any kind of serious injury.
Decade. Was it 10 years in a row he's hit 1,000?
Yeah.
I'll take it. I don't think anybody was like, you've got to hit 11 years. I think everyone's fine. If it had been 9, you'd be like, he didn't do 10 would have been cool, wouldn't it? He did 10. That's okay. Pass the torch. Maybe retire. Be in the Hall of Fame in 5 years. Absolutely, here for it. There's one
he'll get Hall of Fame
players,
and he might get Super Bowl. Sorry.
Well, yeah, there is. Oh, yeah, he could end up back. Bucks could end up with a Super Bowl run. He could get his second Super Bowl.
Yeah,
one with what people are calling the GOAT, Tom Brady, and what we're all calling the GOAT, Baker Mayfield. That would be nice. But yeah, as a NFC South supporter, I just can't hate the Bucks. I just can't. There's something about them. I just really enjoy them. This is before Brady. James Winston was always fun. Could always rely on him to have a good time. Yeah. There's obviously Muscle Hamster, whose name always eludes me when I'm trying to think of it. His real name.
I can't. Yeah,
it's gone from you too. Text me at 4 a.m. It'll come up again. So yeah, Mike Evans. That is a shame, because I would have liked. I think he's, especially with Godwin being out, Mike Evans being out, and Buka's going to get double treble coverage. It could be a rough few weeks until when's Godwin back? Week 5 at least. Is he IR?
No, he's off. He didn't put him on IR, so he's questionable for this week. Probably the next 2 weeks, I reckon. But
when he is back, and Evans is back, and Ibuka's there, and they just carry on doing what they're doing, just in time to face the same
Shepherd.
Doug Martin. The injuries continue.
Doug Martin, Muscle Hamster.
Doug Martin, thank you. Yeah. The Scatterboo prototype.
Yeah.
Same guy.
The last one of note for the injuries, and it ties into the final news article, is Tyrone. Tyrone Tracy dislocated his shoulder, and he's out for he's going to be out for a few weeks. But that means all of your preseason dreams have come true, because we've got Scatman John, Cam Scatterbo playing at running back, and Jackson
Kieran Wooing during your man's presser. I forgot. Is it Dre? What's the coach called in the Giants?
Brian Daboll.
Daboll, yeah. So he's at the lectern talking to the press, and you could just hear off in the background somebody going, "Woo!" And it's like, Scatterboo. It's like, he keeps the energy up. He's here for
It's
it.
like Ric Flair in the back.
Yeah, he's just Ric Flair all over the place. Love it. Yeah, been on board of that. Still upset in our Dynasty League that I didn't get him. He should have been mine, but Mayday Blackburn beat me to the punch. So now I'm just going to have to support him from the sidelines and be a good person and buy his jersey, which I have after his week 2 breakout performance. So yeah, our Tyrone, that is a shame because Tyrone Tracy actually a pretty legit running back. 2 very different styles, those 2. Scatterboo's like my kind of running back, but Tyrone, he's just elusive. He's fun. He's got all of the good traits that you want to be able to weave in and out. So that is a shame. Did he lethal weapon it back in? Did he just like go up to somebody on this and just jam his shoulder back in?
Smash it to a filing cabinet.
Yeah.
I didn't see. I think probably not. That's just what's in the green tent. They just go in the tent, a blue tent, and it's just a filing cabinet.
Yeah, dislocated shoulder, is it? Okay, yeah. I've got just the thing.
And I saw a tweet the other day, and this morning, sorry, and I can't remember who, so I apologise. But they said there's 2 types of white running back. There's the cerebral running back like CMC, and there's the absolute crayon eaters like Cam Scatterbo. I was like, yes, that's exactly what it is.
I saw a similar one. Somebody had quoted that one, and it said, Cam Scatterbo is the Baker Mayfield of running backs. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I love a good crayon eater. And yeah, Scatterbo for Wolverine. MCU people, come on. Yeah. He's perfect. He's the exact. Would be good. Yeah, I wish he would just shave the middle out and just have the Wolverine beard.
He strikes me as the type to lean into it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he definitely would do. He's such a dude. And that's all of the depressing news. We still managed to land on Scatterbo at the end, so good work.
But the good news that comes with that we kind of hinted at earlier on is Jackson Dart is now confirmed as the starter for the New York Football Giants.
Dart the starter. Yeah, I predicted that it was going to be week 4. I'm just going to throw that one out there. I did change that slightly last week when I looked at their schedule. And I said, oh, you know what? I wouldn't feed him to the Chargers. I would wait until the Saints in week 5. But I think they've just had enough of Russ throwing it to who he likes, regardless of what team they're on. It's just like, he seems cool. Good enough. It's a completion. He's just going for completion stats at this point. Is dangerous. And look, will Russ end up back in there? Yeah, maybe. I think they'll just keep ducking him in and out, and then seeing how we get on, and then obviously results may vary. But yeah, really, really, really excited to see Dart and Scatterbo be the starts. I think Scatterbo's supposed to be 3rd on the depth chart, but he's number 1 in your hearts, isn't he? So they're both. And who do they have this coming week?
Is that the Chargers?
Oh, it's Chargers. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So that's the game for me to watch. It's on at 6 p.m. Love that. There's only 29% of people have picked the Giants in our Pick'em League. I'm one of them because I think, you got to spot. Plus, I didn't have the best week this week, so I need to catch up somehow. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. And that was the news from the underground. On to halftime. And we're back. We don't have a sponsor. We just left and came back for that little drop. I went to the fridge to get a Coke.
That was fast. Impressive.
I'd already poured it, put it in the fridge. That's showbiz.
Smart. I like it.
This week's halftime report comes from yourself, Pete, with something that you mentioned after a couple of whiskeys at the end of in the green room after the show last week. And that was the unjust write-off. So here we are, the halftime Pedro's unjust write-offs. And what do you mean by an unjust write-off?
So these are players that I think before the season, or for some, one of them at least in the season, were written off as these are busts. They're not going to do anything this season. They're going to be awful, and they have proven us very, very wrong through 3 weeks. Now, obviously, those things can change, but for the level they're playing at now, I think these players deserve their flowers, and I think that needs to be handed out. So, you said you're not a stat guy. I am absolutely going to go stat list. I'm going to fire through these.
Statman John.
Yeah, the inspiration for this was Daniel Jones. At the beginning of the season, I think you had them going 0-16. I did,
yeah.
I think I had them with 1 or 2 wins. And the specific wording I said on, I think, our first show was, if Daniel Jones is winning your QB competition, you don't have a QB. And I would like to normally say, I was unfamiliar with your game. I was familiar with your game. This wasn't it. This was not your game coming up. So some stats here. 71.6% completion rate. That's QB4 among people that have started all 3 games. 816 yards, QB3. 3 rushing touchdowns, QB2. 0 interceptions. His QBR of 85.8 has him as the QB1 in football. His passer rating of 111.7 has him as the QB3. He is playing at an elite MVP level. And to think of that from Daniel Jones is bananas. I know he's only done three passing touchdowns, but they haven't. But that really, he's really impressed me from start to finish. So kudos then. Let's see if that can continue.
We've got Danny Lawrence in the chat before you do. Travis Etienne.
Yes.
He had written off. Is he on your list?
Do you know what? He isn't. And I knew there was somebody that was missing, and it's absolutely Etienne. I didn't draft him anywhere. I mean, like 27, 28 fantasy football leagues. I didn't draft him anywhere because he looked awful last year. He really did look bad. And you thought, Tootin's come in and looks exciting. You thought Tank Bigsby was going to start to steal snaps, and he went because he wasn't needed. Etienne has looked electric. He's looked really good. I don't have stats for him, but he's looked absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Danny said exactly the same thing. He's got 6% of Tootin across his dynasty teams, and that's exactly it. He looked like he had what Etienne didn't, but Etienne has found himself again. But again, these more slight running backs, we saw it in Tampa last year with Bucky Irving coming in for under Cohen's offense, and he looked absolutely fantastic. And he's obviously, that running scheme is what he's really good at scheming up, and that's working for Jacksonville. That's one thing that is really working in their offensive game plan. Another Sam Darnold. Everybody, I mean, he looked awful. He looked awful before he went to Minnesota. Then he looked good, and then he just tailed off towards the end. And it was like, oh, people have found him out. It was just Kevin O'Connell and his scheme and the situation that he's got. He's going to go to Seattle and he's going to turn back into a pumpkin. And he hasn't. I mean, they absolutely destroyed the Saints this weekend.
They sure did.
But, I mean, that wasn't just on him. Obviously, Kenneth Walker had a good game. 70% completion rate. That's QB7. His average pass length is 9 yards per pass, and that's QB3 in the league. His passer rating of 104.7 is QB8. So in a lot of those main things, he's really Alex is with us now. Never out of my ginger beautiful boy. Yeah. And I was wrong. He's learning how to play the position, and he's playing well, and he's got good weapons, so that helps. And JSN and Cooper Kupp and even Torrey Horton, who I really liked preseason, and made a really good play this week. And Kenneth Walker and name escapes me, their second RB, who is just who missed this weekend, but they're a fantastic tandem. The running backs he's got there, so he's got a good supporting cast and he's playing really well. So I'm really impressed with him. Javonte Williams, I think we forget how good Javonte Williams was. He was to start with, then he had that injury, and then he was awful. Even when he came back from injury, he was fairly healthy. He was terrible in Denver last year, but 7th in yards, 3rd in rushing touchdowns, 3rd in rushing first downs. He's been superb, and he was torching Chicago. I don't know why they even bothered passing it. He was the one bright spot, apart from Tyreek Stevenson coming in and taking his lunch on that inception, which was on like a 50-yard bomb breakaway run, and Stevens just went and took it off him at the line. But he's been playing great. Quentin Johnston everybody had him as a bust. The LA Chargers wide receiver, Quentin Johnston, first round a couple of years ago. It's been awful, but 3 touchdowns. That has him 4th, but I think there's 3. The top players are all on 4, so he's 1 touchdown behind the leaders. 6th for yards. He's got 239 yards in 3 games. 17 yards per carry, which is 6th amongst all receivers. 100 yards after catch, which is 6th after wide receiver. So all of those 4, 6, 6, 6, despite being 21st in receptions and 30th in targets. So he's not getting the volume, but he's just making those plays happen when he gets it.
Every time he gets it, he makes something of it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's been exciting. I think the presence of having 2 really, really good possession receivers pulling with Keenan Allen and Lad McConkey. Thank you. He allows him to do that same role that Jameson Williams does in Detroit. They'll pull a coverage and he'll get those bomb plays and put him one-on-one, and he's a problem. And he's not dropping the ball, which is a novelty for him. So yeah, and the last one I'm going to say is Caleb. He had so much stick this week. So much stick. He's getting grief for days. But I said it earlier on, going into last night's match, he was leading the league in touchdowns. He's now 2nd behind Lamar. He's 9th in average length of pass because he had the longest pass of the season at the weekend. He's top 10 in QBR. He's 6th in passer rating as well. He is growing in this offense and getting better and better. And he is playing the best of all of the second round of all of last year's QBs draft class, which at some point on Friday, he was probably the worst in a lot of people's eyes, but actually statistically and the performance don't bear that out. So, I need to stand up for my boy.
Much like Joe Burrow last year, where you're only an MVP if you get wins, Caleb's not got the results behind him. So you're going to look at the wins first and say, right, you've only won once, and I'm not going to look at your stats. If you've won all 3, and then people go, wow, he's like 3-0. He's got all of these stats as well. So, maybe one to watch. Starts to turn a corner. Hopefully, we get a bit of it. I, for the record, keep picking the Bears every single week in the pick'em. I picked them again this week. I just think that for every week that I've looked at them so far, I've gone, I can see them winning that. I can see them winning that. I can see them winning that. I had them winning this week. A lot of people didn't. And then I, for some reason, found out that I'd changed it or didn't follow through and picked Dallas and then was wrong. But I was on record everywhere saying the Bears are going to win this week. They're in my ACCA. I was just... Anyway.
Yeah, bonkers.
And that's the halftime report. Thank you very much, Pedro. On to topic of the week. Yeah, didn't have a drop for it last week. Forgot to make one. Made one now. Topic of the week. We are going through the 3-0 or 0-3. So what we're basically going to do here is go through the list of all of the teams that have either won all 3 or lost all 3 and decide whether or not that's kind of legit, whether we see it continuing one way or another. Do we go all 0-3s, all 3-0s? Do we do one of each, one of the other? What do you think?
Let's go with all 3-0s because there's a couple of 3-0s, 0-3s to start with as well.
It does, yeah. It doubles up quite nicely in a few places, actually, I found by going through it. So 3-0s, and I've written down their week 4 opponents as well. So we've got Bills, Chargers, Colts, Eagles, Niners, Bucks. So the Bills versus the Saints. That is an easy 4-0, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt. That's the you don't need to watch this one. We know the result. Nobody care. The Bills want to win the Super Bowl. The Saints want the number 1 pick. Everybody's happy.
Yeah,
they can
definitely
have it perfectly fine.
No questions.
Chargers 3-0 versus the New York Giants, who are 0-3. Something's got to give. Somebody has to break their streak. Either.
Yeah.
Actually, no. It can either both streaks break or neither streak breaks. Do the Chargers go 0-4 and the Giants go 0-4 and Chargers go 4-0, or do they both get a 1 in their current 0 columns?
I struggle with this. My brain says the Chargers look far too good, and the Giants don't. But Chargers going to charge, and you always get that bounce where the team don't have tape on Jackson Dart. So it's going to be really difficult for that with Dart starting versus Chargers, because it's a very different threat. It's a very different threat to Russ. Russ doesn't have the legs anymore that Dart does. So I think Dart can be exciting. It's a tough game plan for him. It's also a very tough matchup against a strong Chargers defense.
Well, that's me as well. I'm on the other side of that camp, obviously. Justin Herbert didn't look very good until very late in the game against the Broncos, in my opinion. I had him in fantasy. He had like 3 points for me. Kept getting intercepted. He had 1 interception, got sacked 5 times. Still had 300 yards, completed 28 of 47. And that's against the Broncos D. The Broncos D is good, but if we're to believe Alex, then the Giants D is, well, they've proven themselves for the past few weeks. They look all right. They can keep in a game. It's Russ that wasn't keeping the Giants in the game. So I have the Giants booking this trend, going 1-3, and the Chargers then being 3-1.
I think so too, and I don't like it. The Broncos defense is, in my opinion, is better than the Giants defense. They're very, very talented. They might not always deliver on that talent, but the talent is there. But yeah, I think Dart is, unless they can throw him off with really confusing defensive looks and just scheme just wildly all over to throw him off and not know what he's seeing. If that happens, it'll be an absolute bloodbath and the Giants will get smushed, I think. But I don't see that happening. And I think this is a low-scoring affair, less than 35 points total, and the Giants win it. Apologies, Alex. Yep. I know the Chargers are your boys, but I think the wheels.
Well, a bit of an Alex off this one, because he's talked a big game about the Giants defense, and now they're and he likes them, and now they're facing his Chargers. So I guess we'll see what his opinion is after this week. Next one, Colts 3-0 against the Rams. Rams are 2-1, but do the Colts continue their winning streak? The Rams looked really, really good. They have done week in, week out. They were unfortunate to drop one to the Eagles this week. I think the wheels are going to fall off Indy here. They're at LA, which doesn't tend to matter too much because LA don't really have that big home crowd. But I just think that Indy are going to end up losing this one. And that's not me like going against the Colts like I have done in the past. I'm just more thinking the Rams have got something going for them. Or, the Colts pull something out. But 37% of people on the pick'em have gone Indy, 63% Rams. I'm leaning that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Rams have got a better home following than the Chargers do, so they will fill out the Coliseum more. SoFi more. I want Indy to do, because Indiana Jones is the best nickname in all of football. So I want that to keep up, because that is just incredible.
He'll still be there.
He'll still be there, yeah, but I just like the hype that comes with it as well, and the CGI and AI generated images that come, and the joy with that. But yeah, the Rams, I still believe the Rams are a better team, and I think they'll be hurting after that loss, and I think Indy will cop for it. Yeah, it'll be a close game, but I think the Rams get this one.
Fair enough.
I think they cover the spread as well.
Here we go. 3-0 and 3-0. We've got the Eagles at Tampa.
Oh. At the Eagles. I'm not going to pick against the Eagles here. I love Tampa, but without Evans, when it's all on K. Dotton, Sterling Shepard, and Egbuka, I think if the Bucks were fully fit, I would give them a chance at home, and I would probably pick them at home. But I think they've lost too much, so I think the Eagles get this one.
I'm going to go the other way. I think we're going to get a Baker Mayfield who, if he was in the presser beforehand and he gives the whole "I woke up feeling dangerous," it's game over. Like that's it. This is the game that I think like he's got to understand that people are tipping them now to be a Super Bowl contender. You're going up against the previous Super Bowl winners who are also 3-0. You're in your own house. This is must-win statement game, and I think that Baker's going to take it personally. I think he's just going to put it on his back. You're going to see him potentially hurt himself by running through some Eagles this weekend. That game I'm very, very much looking forward to watching. I don't like that it's at 6 o'clock, the same as the Chargers Giants game, but hey ho, can he have them all? Next, the surprising but not surprising, the 49ers are 3-0. They're up against the Jags this week. I think that's probably going to keep up as well. I asked earlier, are the Jags bangers or were the Texans trash? We kind of worked out that it was probably the Texans' fault that the Jags ended up winning. I think the Niners, for all of their injury woes, especially at QB, they replaced their QB with a clone of their QB. I just think that the Niners just going to have a better time in this game.
Sorry,
They are
we lost
at
Nick, but then I
home.
think we lost Joe as well. So I'm not sure entirely what's happening there. Hopefully back in a second. Get his feeling on the Bucks Eagles. The next one that we've got coming up, which is going to be a key one, is Niners v Jags. That one is a fascinating one to me. That's a really, really fascinating game. I think the Jags, the Niners themselves are being up. We've seen that they feel like fakish 3-0 team. I think that's been very much a situation of their schedule as opposed to the quality necessarily of that team. It'll be interesting to see how that one comes about. I think the Niners come unstuck against the Jags actually. They're at home. The Jags haven't been great, so it's an easy way to be getting for. But I think the Jags will do enough. The lack of Nick Bosa with everybody else, that caused the upset in the week that I can see. Onto the 0-3 teams, you've got Jets at Miami.
And Pete has vanished. Love a bit of technical difficulties at the end of the podcast. He was working his way onto the 0-3s. Let's just see if we can pull him back in. Please bear with as I text Peter. I will talk about it while I am here, though, as Pete makes his way back into the green room, back into here. So we've got 0-3s, Jets, the Dolphins, the Texans, the Titans, the Giants, the Saints. So the Jets at Miami, I think that's a tough one for both teams because they are both 0-3. Somebody has to win. I think that based on everything that I've seen so far, the Miami Dolphins are probably going to struggle bust their way, even though they are at home. The Jets at least have shown that they have a game in them, which the Dolphins really don't. Nobody really looks like they want to be there. Tyreek Hill did have a moment this week where he was starting to look a little bit like the old Tyreek Hill, and that's about it. They're not moving the needle for me, which is kind of a shame because I do enjoy them. Bear with me while I drag Pete back in. And we are back. Hey, Pete,
Sorry
you
about
back?
that. My Wi-Fi just decided to turn itself off, which was super helpful. Thanks for that.
That was incredibly good. I enjoyed that quite a lot. You were starting to go like a little bit fuzzy when we were talking about the Niners, and then I thought that was my connection. I bailed. I came back, and then you left. Me on my own to talk about the Jets and Miami, two teams that really have nothing going for them. It is the Timmy off, isn't it? Like 0-3, 0-3 Jets at Miami, which is kind of a shame. Both fine, doesn't really matter. Don't really care. I just think the Jets are going to win this because at least they've looked like a good team at some point.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of it depends on where the field is back because it's not cleared concussion protocol yet. If it's Tyrod Taylor, then I'll take the Finns, but I don't really like taking the Finns over anybody. I think they're rubbish, to put it bluntly, and I've kind of expressed that a few times. They've helped me with my Survivor leagues as well. Just anybody but the Finns. It's going to be an interesting one, but I think if Fields is back, the Jets take this, even though it is in Miami.
Yeah, fair enough. Next one, 0-3's Texans and the Titans. These 0-3 teams just love to go at each other this week. So the Titans are at the Texans. I think we've established that we don't think the Texans are very good or don't look very good or something's not going very well. I'd be tempted to give Ward his first win here.
Yeah, I agree. This stat that I talked about earlier on, there was a big thing. Obviously, Stroud, that first season feels like such a mirage now. He was an elite quarterback. Week 2, they played the Bears, and there's that famous thing where like Caleb walked off and was like, no, come back in. He started like giving him dad advice about this is what you need to do to win. He was trying to be nice. And it's just a bit cringe for a guy that was just playing his second season. Since then, in that 17 games, he's thrown 18 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Ooh. In every possible stat, he's been worse than what has been a really ropey Caleb Williams. He's not there. He's got zero protection. His line is horrifically bad. I still think Cam has looked good, despite everything else not quite working around him. He's shown promise, and I think they get it this time, and the Texans go 0-4 and just fire their coach, torch it all, and then invest as much as they can on their offensive line for next season.
Yeah, inclined to agree with you. Just realised that I had it the wrong way around on the pick'em, so I've just popped back in there. Texans favoured by 75% on people picking these games.
A lot of people have Titans as the worst team in the league, and I just think they're
it were. But last year is not this year. Currently 0-3 though, so you can see it, but they both are. So yeah, they're both 0-3. And then we've got the Giants against the Chargers, which we've talked about. Obviously, that's an 0-3 versus a 3-0, which is something you don't really want to see unless you're a Chargers fan, I guess. And the Saints Bills, an 0-3 against a 3-0. Obviously, the Saints want that number one pick, and the Bills want to have home field advantage all the way through the playoffs to go and win the Super Bowl, which they very well may do.
Yes.
And we'll all be very happy for them should it continue to go that way.
Yeah.
So that is the topic of the show. On to the 2-minute drill, which we're going to continue on with Pick'em and Flick'em. All right, taking us through to the end this week, we are doing the end of the show, which is the leagues or the podcasts, Pick'em and Flick'em for the week. A little update. Joel, 32-16. Pete, 32-16. Alex, respectful, 30-18. He dragged himself up over the past couple of weeks to be close enough. I want to point out my own. I go real Snoop Dogg when it comes to this. When he was introducing Dre to like his Hollywood star, what it is, and it's like I would like to thank me. My week 3 underdog picks: the Lions over the Ravens and the Bears over the Cowboys. If only I'd have actually clicked the button for the Bears, but I did tell everybody that the Lions were going to beat the Ravens and the Bears were going to beat the Cowboys. Everybody thought I was crazy because I've been talking shit about the Lions for at this point 3 weeks solid. I just had an inkling that was going to happen. I don't know what it was. Felt it in my bones. They're going to end up forever trading wins, I think, over the next few years, and you can flip a coin. It could go one way or the other. A couple of shout outs before we get on to our picks for this week. S Black 74 is 37-11 and is the sole person first overall now. So over 3 weeks, he's only got 11 results incorrect. And a special shout to Rob Nugent 10, who in week 3 went 14-2, but Green Bay and Atlanta should have won this week. Therefore, he should have gone 16-0. He should have picked every single one. They were the only two that he got wrong, and they were absolute locks based on their opponents. But crazy things have happened with Cleveland and the Panthers killing everybody's accumulators and pick'ems this week. Pete, what have you got? You got any locks? Any underdogs? What do you think?
I've got the Steelers winning. I think they've got such a massive home. Don't underestimate how much of a home game that is going to be. Is it Croke Park? They're playing in
we
Ireland.
Haven't actually mentioned it, bearing in mind that we're a UK fine in Ireland, but we're a podcast on this side of the pond, and we haven't said once that the Steelers-Vikings game this week is in Ireland.
Yeah.
So well done for us for getting all this way and not being like, oh, there's a team. We're not like here with pots of gold and shillelaghs and whatnot like the silly Americans will probably have. I can see it now. Somebody in a studio with a green suit on. Fine, I'm wearing green. Damn, I'll just prove myself wrong. But no, you're right. I've got the same Steelers over the Vikings in Ireland. Currently, it's 42% of people have got the Steelers. So it's not like massive underdogs, but you are right. It is the Islanders is like the Steelers home away from home, essentially. Isn't their owner a what's the word that I'm looking for? Ambassador.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes. He's an ambassador for like football in Ireland or for Ireland in general. I don't know. It's one or the other, but he probably has some kind of lineage where Americans think they're Irish.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, it's going to be like Highfield there. I think they'll do well there, and they won't have the weird bump of Carson Wentz first week. So it'll come back down to a bump, I reckon. So
it will settle down. The Vikings over in Ireland, then flying back to Minnesota, then flying back to London.
Oh, the Vikings won the London games.
It's Vikings Browns. I'm going to it on the
okay.
5th, unless have I got my dates? What is the date this weekend? 28th. Oh no, they'll be in Ireland on the 28th, and then they'll be at Tottenham on the 5th. So they'll stay over here. So
right, okay.
already bet on the Vikings to win in London because they'll have already acclimatized and they'll be over this side for an extra week.
Yeah.
Any other underdogs or any big locks that you've got?
I've said, I think we already kind of touched on it. I think the Jets beat Miami, which is a good one. And the only other underdog I've got, I think they're underdog because they're away. That since I picked it, they've actually become overdog. Overdog? They become favourite on the picker.
Underdog, overdog, wombling free.
Yeah.
The Seahawks of Seattle.
I think the Seahawks beat Arizona in Glendale.
That's interesting, actually. Yeah. So since we started the podcast, that has switched because I've got my list of underdogs that I've picked, and I've got Arizona winning that game, but they're not in my pick of underdogs. But it has flipped to 53-47. So you're overdogs now. The Seattle Seahawks.
I think it's because people heard all of my Sam Darnold stats and were like, "Whoa!"
Whoa,
so I probably just
yeah.
It's influencer status, isn't it?
The shift that we're getting. Thursday night game, that as well.
Yeah.
That could be fine.
Yeah, and I'm going to have Pittsburgh as my lock of the week. I think it's going to happen. I feel it in my bones. So
your lock of the week is the underdog Pittsburgh Steelers. My lock of the week is Buffalo against New Orleans.
Yeah. That felt like too low-hanging fruit, to be fair.
That's what a lock is. Everybody. I said it last week. Everyone picked Green Bay against the Browns, and I was wrong. But 100% of people listened to me. This week, Buffalo to beat New Orleans. This is not going to be the same as the Browns Green Bay game. The Buffalo definitely going to win that. So a couple of my underdogs, sticking true to what I've been saying for ages. Browns are going to beat the Lions. I think the Browns look good. That defense can go after Jared Goff. Myles Garrett is flying high right now. So they're going to have that win, and then that's going to take them into London the week after, and they're going to beat the Vikings there as well, even though I just said the Vikings are going to beat the Browns. Yeah, only 22% of people have picked Cleveland. I think the Browns are going to start playing like they've got nothing to lose. And it very could be that if they do lose, then that's when Shador gets in. So Joe Flacco, I don't know if he cares about starting or not. Feels like he just shows up, puts out a cigarette, plays. But I think he might be playing to be the starter. He might have some kind of incentive bonus that'll put him on there. So yeah, watch this space for that. Underdogs. Everybody loves an underdog. Kansas City to beat the Ravens. Did it last week with the underdog Lions to beat the Ravens. Doing it again this week for the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Ravens. I think that this rivalry goes so deep, and there is no in hell that KC can end up being 1-3. That is insane.
It's insane that one of those teams is going to be 1-3. Like that blows my mind. That when you saw how close the Ravens were in that first week against Buffalo and how well they played, to be like, oh yeah, these are going to be 1-3. I mean, it's been a horrifically brutal run, but even still, it's mad, absolutely mad.
The scheduling gods knew what they were doing with that one. They're like putting all these things together to get into this week. They probably assumed they were both going to be 0-3 or 3-0 rather, and this would be the who's going to get it? This is going to matter for home field advantage come the playoffs. And it might not at this point because they're both 1-3. I suppose they still both have the same record, so there's that too. Just out of curiosity, I saw a meme earlier where it's that like kid at the front of the class being like, "Hey, I brought this," and it's like you brought that the same 3 weeks, and it was the Chargers going, "I brought you a divisional win," and it's like you brought us a divisional win 3 weeks in a row now. Sit down. Are the Chargers the only ones that have got who are 0-3 and have 3 divisional wins?
They must be, because the Bills beat the Ravens. Of the 3-0 teams, the Bills beat the Ravens, who weren't in their division. The
Eagles beat the
who the
Rams.
Colts
They were in
played.
their division. Niners.
Let's have a look. Could be. Who did the Niners play? Yeah, because they played the Cards this week, didn't they?
Yeah, they're in week 1 though.
Colts were played divisional this week, didn't they? They might.
Colts
They
beat
might
the
be.
Dolphins in week 1.
Oh yeah, so it's not the Colts.
Yeah, so I think it might just be the Chargers with 3 divisional wins. San Francisco beat Seattle in week 1. I don't know what they did in week 2.
They Saints.
All right,
So,
fair
yeah.
enough. Yeah, so the Chargers 3-0 and 3 divisional wins.
Such
So
a
that's
massive
quite
advantage.
interesting. So I guess power rankings wise, they should be the top.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. And then my final underdog was the Titans beat the Texans. 25% of people have got the Titans, like we've already said. The Texans looked so bad that it could give a lot of confidence to Cam Ward and the Titans. Lock of the week, Buffalo versus New Orleans, and a sneaky W, question mark. Are the Giants going to beat the Chargers? Maybe. But I've definitely backed them in the pick'em. So I guess we'll see how they go with that. I'm just looking at the percentage. 28%. So still not the lowest one that I've picked. The Titans are the lowest. In fact, no, the Browns are the lowest at 22. Good God. I'm really struggling here, aren't I? I want that win. But yeah, that's all of ours. I did throw out that Alex was 30 and 18. He hasn't made his picks for this week, but let's see the pool for the pick'em where we're at. S-Black 74 at the top with 37 points, but then Raider Butts is next with 36 points, and then we've got 3 teams with 35 points, which is I think it's pronounced Didi Mayo, don't know. Percosage something, and Rob Nugent, all there, tied 3rd place. So we can swing either way. I think even the bottom one is still in the 30s. Oh, there is Tunch Boy, our mate Tom, with 21, but I think he didn't pick half of week 2.
Yeah.
But the second bottom is Alex with 30. So there's 7 games in it. Anyone can do it. We're only in week 3. It's going to be a long time till then. But any final thoughts, Peter?
No, looking forward to this week. Don't forget, everybody, for setting fancy teams, and just for if you're not going to the game, the Sunday game starts 2:30. So earlier football on a Sunday. So we can have.
Love that. What's your game of the week that you want to watch?
It is Chiefs Ravens. Because I want to see who shows up there. I think the Ravens might smush the Chiefs. And I think that will be fascinating to watch. But in Arrowhead,
Eagles Tampa for me. 2 3-0s. Love that. Also, Chargers Giants 3-0 versus 0-3. But I think that the ties are about to shift with that. But thank you very much, my friend. Thanks everybody for sticking through the technical difficulties and whatnot. And we'll see you again next week. And end screen.